As I record this, the world's been in quarantine for over a month. Staying put at home for weeks on end can get a bit boring. But we're finding ways to entertain ourselves and each other. John Krasinski from The Office has Brad Pitt reporting the weather.
Brad, how's it looking out there?
Looks, pretty good. Yeah.
Thanks, Brad.
A man in France ran a marathon on his balcony. And many of us are passing the time by cleaning around the house, rediscovering things we haven't seen in years, like childhood artwork or faded photographs that send us off into the rose-colored land of nostalgia. Flashback to 1994.
It's morphin' time! Dragon Sword! Mastodon!
Pterodactyl!
Power Rangers action figures were the hot Christmas toy, and Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman ruled the airwaves. Dr. Quinn was a TV show about a female doctor in the mid-1800s who heads from Boston to the Old West to set up her medicine practice. The show's 149 episodes and 2 made-for-TV movies aired in over 100 countries. Jane Seymour, who played Dr. Quinn, has many fond memories of the show.
Hello.
Hi, Jane, can you hear me okay?
I can.
But like nostalgia, Jane's positive memories are only part of the story.
When I made Dr. Quinn, I was minus $9 million in debt.
I'm Doug Fraser, and this is What We Do, where we'll meet the people behind the most intriguing passions, hobbies, and jobs around the world.
I had lost all the money. I was minus $9 million in debt from every bank, including the FDIC, for something I had had nothing to do with. It was something my ex-husband had done. He was a financial advisor and did all kinds of things without me realizing and had me personally sign them. And so I was stuck in a world that I didn't understand. I lost my home. I lost everything.
At that time, Jane was referred to as the queen of the miniseries. Long-form TV series weren't on her radar, and in fact, she'd refused to do them. But even as television royalty, she found herself against the wall. In a moment of desperation, she called her agent.
And I said, I've lost everything and I need to work yesterday. I instructed him to tell them I would do literally anything. I had to work, anything.
Anything turned out to be Dr. Quinn.
I was told I had to accept instantly and start work the next morning and sign for 5 years. I think the second or third day they put me on a horse. No one asked me if I even rode a horse. And they put me on a very narrow trail with 4 Native Americans bareback, who I don't think had ever ridden bareback themselves, sort of accosting me, and my horse is rearing, and I'm thinking it's a good thing these Americans put the big, the saddle horn there, so I've at least got something to hold on to as I maybe fall off the precipice here. I mean, it was absolutely terrifying.
Such was the life of filming for Dr. Quinn. Jane worked 18-hour days, then went home and memorized the next 9 pages of dialogue. What time she had left in the day, she slept. Before she knew it, it was time to wake up and head to rehearsal, where she was occasionally met with an unwanted surprise.
I'd climb up on the wagon, and a man in a suit would stumble across the mud and serve me with papers for yet another lawsuit, which I knew nothing about. They'd take them off of me, hand them over to my then boyfriend, who became my husband ultimately, James Keach, and he would take them away and help sort them out and see what we had to do, and that was what life was like.
With Jane's past haunting her during her demanding filming schedule, she could have just given up. Bankruptcy was an option, and so was switching careers. But years before, when Jane was a little girl, her mother shared a piece of wisdom that changed her life.
my mother had survived World War II, as of course had my father. My mother had been in an internment camp for 3.5 years in Indonesia. She was a Dutch native living on a tea plantation in Indonesia. And she was in prison for 3.5 years. And they, tortured and starved them, and all kinds of terrible things happened. But she never told us too much about it because she wanted to kind of move on with her life. But what she would tell my sisters and I was that when life was challenging and you felt that it couldn't get worse, that you had to just accept it, which she said is the hardest thing to do in life. And then having done that, if you can open your heart and look out, she said you don't have to look very far to find someone that's worse off than you. And when you do, see what you can do to help them. And if you do something to help someone else, amazing things happen.
Her mother's advice got her through filming and eventually got her out of debt without ever having to file for bankruptcy. She went on to combine her love for painting and her mother's advice to create the Open Hearts Foundation, which raises money for 36 charitable organizations. Today, quarantined to her home, Jane is spending her time trying to give back and spread her mother's wisdom.
I came up with an idea, which actually we're launching today, which is a challenge, and it's not about push-ups or sit-ups or drinking. It's about what you can do to help other people and being open-hearted.
This is Olivia Newton-John here for Jane Seymour's #Open Hearts Challenge, and I just wanted to say that I think a wonderful thing that we can all do in this time, because a lot of people are on their own, is to call someone that you haven't spoken to for a long time.
I've made some natural hand sanitizers, and so I'm going to give these away to anyone who hasn't been able to get hold of any hand sanitizer.
I am Louis Dobson, and this is my mum. And I have done a picture for this hard time. This is part of Jane Seymour's Open Heart Challenge. Bye everyone.
As the number of participants for Jane's challenge grows, she reflects on her life by digging through old boxes of photos.
I would record myself talking about times in my life. As I recall them, I would remember them by looking at the photograph and then go, oh my gosh, I've forgotten about this.
Some of those photos bring her back to the days of filming Dr. Quinn. But her reminiscing might soon turn into making new memories. It turns out Jane and others aren't done with her beloved character.
Beth Sullivan and I have been working on trying to bring it back, and we're actively pitching it now. So I'm very proud of Dr. Quinn. In fact, I think it was well before its time. I think its time is now.
Over 2 decades have passed since Dr. Quinn's series finale. Since then, Harry Potter's put a spell on the world. Beanie Babies didn't make us millionaires. All the while, Jane's mother's words have been at her side. And in 2020, with millions of fans at her back, Dr. Quinn just might write again. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. Would you mind leaving a rating and review for the show? It only takes a moment and it's a huge help. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes. Until next time, stay curious. What We Do is produced by me, Doug Frazier, for WHRO Public Media.